And Alex was just saying that the level here is really high. You, John, and the other guys. I guess today was one of the probably most stacked fields we've had.
For only 25, yeah. It's, I guess the impromptu national championships in a way, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Would have preferred it a little bit more technical, as per the usual BC courses, but yeah, quite a nice race for that. Being able to take on all the hitters straight up. Outrageously good ride by John. It's right up his street. Just get down and ride real hard. Turn around, do the same thing. It's properly good fun. It's nice to square up against them. Obviously, kudos to Alex for coming back from Italy in 48 hours or whatever it is to come and race this. It was cool to line up against him.
And Jo's winning the women's. That's good for you too.
She's worked hard towards that. She's obviously had a fair bit of bad luck this season, as much as it's been a short season. With DNSs and DNFs and crashes and all the other stuff. So to get across the finish line was an achievement in itself. And to be fastest, I think she's pretty chuffed. She got some good numbers out. Aero looks really good, and she's really happy. So nice little win for her too.
Your ride, how did it go?
Pretty good, not amazing. I think I rode it as best I could have done, pacing wise. Basically, you go nearly 10 power to the turn and then hang on the way back, and probably just didn't quite get enough out on the way back. My power dropped quite a bit. I was 372 average for the whole race, which is still, I think, about my best, give or take, for a 25. But considering my form, probably should have been a bit better. But it was there or thereabouts. I mean, enough to take second to match John. I need another 10 watts or so, maybe more. And I've not got that today, so as good as what we could have expected.
Unless we can feel that wind's still blowing us around out here.
Yeah.
Does that change the whole attitude of a course to a rider's skill set or a rider's strengths?
Yeah, basically you need to be able to go out hot, basically nearly deplete your anaerobic tank by the turn and just ride at your critical power threshold the whole way back, give or take. So it's kind of, ride real hard for 25 minutes and hang on for 20. So you've got to be mentally in the right place to be able to suffer through 20 minutes of not much fun riding. And it's still, at the end of the day, the fastest watts to CDA, best guys are going to win, simple as that. And on the day, that was John, but it was a nice kind of challenge. It shows how close it is at the top end. And as I said, I much prefer a nice sporting technical course when you can take a bit of time out of people when the technical aspect and how you ride a course is a bit more important. This is literally, give or take, constant power the whole way, whereas my strength is my ability to sort of vary power and get the time out that way. But
so we've still got a few championships to come, like I think there's one at Thruxton, closed circuit, and also the circuit itself.
50 next week,
so it's the circuit one, which obviously would suit you.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a goal.
Open and closed. Every time I've ridden the Open, I've won it, I think. Like all the Sigma Classics as well. I always do well in them. They're really my kind of thing. I don't think it's quite as circuity as most of the circuit series normally is, but it's still nonetheless a bit more technical, a bit more rolling. I've ridden that course quite a bit. It's the British Uni 25 Champs actually, so I think I've done 2 or 3 races on that one, so quite familiar with it. Looking forward to that one, and Thruxton too. Never ridden at Thruxton, but motor circuits again, my kind of thing. Quite enjoy that. The 50s next weekend, much like this, out on single and dual carriageways. Quite complex actually. There's a lot of random little out and backs and turns and God knows what else. So might have to put a route on the Garmin, but we'll see how that one goes. That's up in Newcastle. We're just praying it's a little bit warmer and a little bit less windy.
And final word: dual carriageway is not your favourite, of course. How did you actually find that today? Because Alex was saying when he drove it, he thought, "Are we going to race this?" And then actually he went out during the race, and it wasn't as bad.
It's still not great. I cannot understand why CTT put nationals on this kind of course. Nationals wants to be inclusive to everybody. Like, I'm literally sitting there this morning being like, this is actually a bit sketchy. Last year was another level, the A50. No one should be racing on that, and this is kind of bordering on the exact same thing. And having raced it, there's a whole lot of traffic. Yes, it was relatively speaking not too bad. There's been no incidents. That's great, but we shouldn't be judging a race saying, "Oh, we're lucky there's no incidents." Like, that should be the default. There shouldn't be incidents. People shouldn't wake up worrying about riding a course. And I just think we should be picking, more sporting courses, more safer courses. Like, why are we on dual carriageways racing? They're not fair. They're not equal anyway. The draft you get from lorries and cars is very mixed and varied rider to rider. Let's make it fair. Let's ideally make it on closed roads, but it just takes that governance and that leadership from CTT to go, yeah, that's the right thing to do. And right now they just don't seem to have that. So yeah, it's a bit unfortunate, but I'll probably be vocal on social media later and see if they take it to the AGM. But knowing them, it's like 10 million steps through going through your districts and everything else to get anything on the AGM, and then normally it all gets voted down because they just don't believe in change. They're not progressive. It's frustrating.
At least you've got some racing, which on a year where we haven't got any racing, good to see time trialling is.
Oh, it's fantastic we've
Giving
got
you an
TT
outlet.
on. Yeah, definitely. We can't complain. They're putting races on, but nonetheless we need to put the right races on, and I think they can do that. It doesn't make the difference whether it's on a fast road or a quiet closed road. It doesn't make any difference to organisational overhead. It just takes the leadership to say, let's go and do this.
What about Thruxton? How do you view races on circuits like that? Because the World's finished on Imola, but I think the closed circuit is around and around and around.
Yeah. Well, obviously you can catch other riders and that's easy to do, but it's like 3 times as wide as any other road you would normally ride on in the UK. There's loads of room to get around people. It's completely closed. You don't have to worry about cars and traffic and everything else that influences the race and makes it scary at the end of the day. Like, no one likes to be passed by HGV with a few inches to spare, right?
Yeah.
That's not what we're here for. It's not what we enjoy. So yeah, I think Thruxton and closed circuits, especially motor racing circuits, are the way forward. And the UK's got hundreds of things. They're everywhere. Let's use them, right? Especially with the way motorsport's going right now around the COVID stuff, they're struggling. Motor racing circuits are going to want events to be on, so let's take advantage of that. Let's go for it. Let's push on.